Passepartout wished to reply, but he was speechless. He went up to his room and collapsed on a chair. Well, I thought I was going to have a quiet time. Then he hurried to make ready. So, after listening to his master's command, he was completely speechless. He can't say a word, or he cannot make any kind of question or doubt towards his master's wish or command was. So he went to his room and he just collapsed. Collapsed means he just sat on his chair and he thought that he was expecting some quiet time, but now he don't have. So he hurriedly got up and started to make arrangements before they are going to leave for the world tour. Round the world in 80 days. Was his master mad? No, he thought. Was it a joke? No. They were going to Dover, right? To Calais, right? Again, they might go to Paris. But surely a gentleman who was such a stay at home not go further than Paris. So now lots of speculations and thinking was going around in the mind of Passepartout. He was thinking while packing, he thought that does his master meant by this world tour in 80 days? Was he joking? Or was he got mad? Something like that. Then he thought that they are just going to Dover or might be to Calais. So there's nothing to worry or nothing to be like think much about this tour because his master is not a person who could stay a very long time away from home. So he thought that they would not be going further more than the Paris. So that is what I think that this world tour might be limited till Paris. In 5 minutes, Passepartout had the bag ready. Mr. Fogg was ready too. He had under his arm Bradshaw's Continental Railway, Steam Transit, and General Guide, in which he would find all the information needed for the journey. So, in 5 minutes, Passepartout was ready with the bag of his and his master also. And Mr. Fogg, along with his bag, he packed few books that would guide him on to the journey. In this, he had three books, that is of Bradshaw's Continental Railway, Steam Transit, and General Guide. Means he had taken train timetables and general guide information about the world and the journey he is going to take. And he took the traveling bag from Passepartout, opened it, and put it in the large bundle of those beautiful banknotes which could be spent anywhere. So after he took the bag from his servant, he put the large bundle of notes, banknotes, that is the currency, and he took it because he needs it onto the journey as it is to be spent to cover the journey successfully. You have forgotten nothing, he asked. And then he queried to Passepartout if he had forgotten something. In response to that, he said, "Nothing, sir." "All right, take this bag." He handed it back to Passepartout. "And take care of it," he added, "for it contains 20,000 pounds." So, after putting all the necessary things into the bag, the money, he gave the bag to his servant and asked him to take care of it because it has 20,000 pounds that he is supposed to spend on his journey. Passepartout nearly dropped the bag, as if the money was in gold and very heavy. So when Passepartout heard the amount, that is 20,000 pounds, so he was very shocked. Nearly he was so shocked that the bag slipped from his hand, as if the bag was very heavy, and this 20,000 pounds was not in a paper currency but in gold. So he was very shocked to listen all this information, all this sudden mysterious information in one go. Then Master and man went down the stairs and out the street door, which was then locked. So finally they were ready. They locked the door and finally they left for the station. A cab took them quickly to the Charing Cross station where they would catch the Dover train. So after coming out to the street, they took a cab, and with the help of that cab, they reached to the Charing Cross station from where they would take the Dover train, which was at 8:45. At 8:20, the cab stopped at the station and Passepartout jumped out. His master followed and paid the fare. At this moment, a poor beggar woman, standing barefoot in the mud, with a child at her side, begged him for help. Mr. Fogg took from his pocket the 20 guineas he had won at whist and gave them to the beggar. So when they reached the station, it was 8:20 p.m. and Passepartout just jumped out of the cab as he needed to buy the tickets for the Dover train. And as he left, his master, that is Mr. Fogg, paid the money, paid the fare to the cab driver, and at that point of time, he found one beggar woman was begging there who was in a barefoot. Barefoot means who didn't have any slippers or shoes wearing. So she was standing on the mud, and she had a child on her side. She asked for help. She begged him that they are hungry and they need some money. Since Mr. Fogg was in a very happy and in an adventurous mood, he gave away all the 20 guineas that he won at the game of the card, that is at the whist, and he gave them all to the beggar. Take this, I am pleased to have met you, he said. So, while giving the money, he said to the beggar that, take all of this, and he is very glad that he met her. Passepartout overheard this and began to love his master, Mr. Fogg, and he went on to the main platform where Passepartout was told to get two first class tickets for Paris. So now, when Passepartout heard his master's conversation with that lady, that beggar, he was very he started admiring. He was very pleased to hear what his master said, and he started loving his master. Mr. Fogg already commanded Passepartout that he needs to buy two first class tickets to Paris. So after Passepartout bought the ticket, they were now ready to board the train. Turning round, Phileas Fogg saw his fellow members of the Reform Club on the platform. So after purchasing the ticket, when they reached to the particular platform from where they are going to get the Dover train, Mr. Fogg found all his Reform Club member standing onto the platform.